Hello and welcome to the Ferret Business Podcast. I am your host, Yemmy the Ferret, aka Yemmy, aka DJ Yemmy. And with me today is another returning member of the podcast family. He's a live streamer on Twitch and sometimes still YouTube, but mostly he does videos on YouTube now. Hey, it's MazTech Gaming. Welcome back to the podcast.
What's going on, man? Thank you so much for having me again, man. It really is an honor. I appreciate it.
Oh, not a problem. Well, how are you today?
I'm doing well, man. I'm tired. I'm tired. Just did an 8-hour stream on Twitch this morning into this afternoon, and I'm pretty wiped from it.
I think the last time you were on the podcast, you were also coming off of a very long stream. It might have been more like 5 hours or something like that. But it's funny how these things go, you know? You're playing Fallout 76 right now. You did 8-hour stream, and I think the last time it was Fallout 4 you were playing for 5 hours. Nice big. The world keeps on turning, but things seem to be the same, or
exactly. Relatively the same for sure.
So Maz, first order of business here. We're gonna hit with the hard-hitting question first off. Where does Mazo come from? Where did that start?
Oh, dude, that was just random. To be honest with you, I'm becoming a Bethesda streamer. I mean, my success on my channel has really, anytime that I've gotten a meaningful amount of support or visitors or viewers on any one of my streams, it's been a Bethesda-based game for the most part. And I was playing through Skyrim again, just recently. Well, not just recently, a couple months ago now. And I decided to do a wizard build. I had never done that before. It's always been a stealth archer or a run and gun type warrior, in your face, swords. But I wanted to try something like with a wizard. But I just kind of thought of something just randomly. Mazo sounds like a wizard name. I mean, you don't have an archer or a warrior going around by the name of Mazo. So it's just something that took off actually during my Skyrim streams, but fortunately that didn't really stick afterwards, which was nice.
Yeah, I think it's a great name. Mazo the Magician.
It was, Mazo the Magnificent.
That's what it was.
I think that was the first title of the Skyrim Wizard playthrough.
Did you continue Skyrim on Twitch, or is it mostly just Fallout right now?
I haven't gotten back to Skyrim yet. I'm going to be doing it again soon. I'm going to be doing it. I'm going to get it on PC soon, and I'm going to be playing through that way with some mods and whatnot. People really enjoy the Skyrim playthrough. They enjoy the Fallout playthroughs, but I'm definitely going to be getting back to that for sure. And I'm going to be actually save that for later on, but something about YouTube coming up. But I also started doing. It's called Jackbox Games. Mm-hmm. It was something fun that I wanted to try out. I'm big on engagement. Engagement's a big thing for me. So the more people I have engaging in conversation or playing along, I have more fun. And I know that the viewers have more fun too. The Jackbox has been a really big success. But at the end of the day, it's all about the Bethesda for me. They're my favorite types of games, and it's really what helped build both my channels.
Comparing Kahoot to the Jackbox, do you think Jackbox just takes the win no matter what there?
Well, here's the funny thing. Right before I moved over to Twitch, I just randomly decided one night, I want to try Kahoot. And I knew that they had a way that you could bot Kahoot, so you could have like 400 to 600 bots in your Kahoot game and really screw things up. And I was like, it's either going to happen or it's not going to happen. And the first game that we played on Kahoot, there were 12 people in there playing the game, and then all of a sudden I'm looking at my viewer count, and it goes from like 22 people in stream to like 64 people watching in stream, and I'm like, oh shit, you know what? That's not because Kahoot's fun and everything like that. It's not because Maz is streaming. It's because I'm going to come in and fuck up this guy's stream, but. It was really just a test stream to see what kind of engagement we had, which, to be honest with you, I was on for a half hour before I was like, you know what, I got to turn this off because we're just getting botted to hell. But
right,
we got 5,000 hours of watch time, and like 200 views in 30 minutes. So, wow. I mean, who really suffered there in the long run? As far as what YouTube's looking for, who really suffered there? I'll tell you right now, it wasn't Mazzo the Magnificent. But then I was doing a little bit of research. I was talking to the division, who's a really cool guy. And he's like, if you want to engage with your viewers, if you want them to have a game where they can participate in, and the same thing happened with Evil Laugh Gaming. He said the exact same thing. Get Jackbox. So I was talking to Evil Laugh Gaming about it. And he's like, yeah, definitely get the Jackbox Party Pack 3. So I got that. He said 2. So I got 2 and then I got 3. And we have a lot of engagement. So I rolled it out on my Twitch channel right off the bat. And my very first Twitch stream, we had 38 viewers in the stream. But I got to the point where I was like, I'm starting to miss the YouTube platform as far as the amount of engagement. We can talk about the differences between the two platforms later. But I came back over to YouTube and played it once, and we had like 8 people playing the game, and had 10 people in the audience, and had like another 10 people on top of that just sitting there watching the game and the stream and everything like that, and engaging in chat, engaging in game. So I think that's something that I want to continue to do. But I ended up, to answer your question, getting back to answering your question, which I seem to go off on a tangent all the time.
That's okay.
Is that the Jackbox definitely, in terms of quality, definitely has a better draw than Kahoot. Kahoot, people just want to try to fuck with you,
The little bit that I did play that one day it wasn't bad. I think the questions were a little easy. To me and Evil Laugh Gaming, we like dominated the round, and then all of a sudden like we couldn't do anything anymore because the people had joined. But I mean, if they clean it up a little bit, it might be a good game, But
here's where the element of difficulty really plays in. Now with Evil Laugh Gaming, anytime he plays, it's like an automatic win for him. You crushed it. When Keji Rain comes in and plays, he crushes it. But 35% of my entire subscriber or follower base is based out of the UK and other parts of Europe, Netherlands, Belgium, out of the country, and they don't always know those questions.
Right.
So it definitely adds quite a bit of interest for me to see how people respond and react, and also some of the questions. Based on our age, there are a lot of millennials that don't know those questions.
Right. So
that's kind of funny to watch too.
Now, I noticed that you did the same thing on YouTube a while back where you had a recorded video be like, I guess you would call it a premiere now on YouTube, but you can do a recorded video and watch it with your subscribers. You did Cuphead recently on Twitch, and you did Cuphead before, I know that, on YouTube. Yep. Is that something you're planning on bringing more to Twitch in the future?
In terms of more Cuphead or more AFK streams?
Yeah, more of the AFK streams.
So I just started on Twitch 5 weeks ago today, and reruns are kind of encouraged with Twitch.
Mm-hmm.
Not so much with YouTube. I mean, now they got the premieres and everything like that. That's more of an AFK stream type thing to compete with Twitch. Not sure how well that's gonna do. Some people like it, some people hate it, some people don't know how to use it.
I haven't tried it yet personally.
Anybody that knows me knows that I'm huge on experimentation, and watching metrics to see how one thing does versus another, versus different times, versus different days. But to be honest with you, short answer, no, I'm not going to continue with AFK streams and reruns. And the reason being is because, especially when you're talking about Twitch, people are there to watch live content. They don't talk as much as people do on YouTube, because those are the type of people that want to watch live streams and they want to watch gameplay. So if you don't ever talk to them, sometimes that's going to be okay, depending on the type of audience you have at that time.
Right.
I'm always going to talk no matter what. So don't follow me if you don't like it. But at the same time, you have a lot of people there that just want to watch. And the only reason why I was doing reruns and AFK streams on Twitch, was to get people. It's almost like branding myself, letting people know that I'm there, because I'm a nobody on YouTube and Twitch, but I only had maybe 100 followers, and most of those 100 followers followed me over from YouTube initially. So I started doing these AFK streams to take advantage of the downtime on Fallout 76. Because when the beta was up, it was only for, this day from, let's say, 2 o'clock p.m. to 8 p.m., and then it wouldn't be back on for 2 days. So instead of hosting somebody, I just would restream what I had played on Fallout 76 beta and let it run for 24 hours. Because there were still people, even though the beta was up, wasn't up, and people couldn't, they couldn't watch live Fallout 76, they still wanted to watch it, right?
Mm-hmm.
So what I ended up doing was going and restreaming it. So when I restreamed it or did a rerun of it, I'd put it on and I'd go to sleep, and I'd wake up and I gained 10, 15, sometimes 20 followers overnight. And then they'd come back once we went live, once we went live with the actual release of the game. So we've had some success. So we've actually gone in the last 2 weeks, probably from 115 followers, and I think we're at 283 today.
Wow. So
it was working really well. But if you tried to restream or rerun that now that Fallout 76 is live and released, it wouldn't have the same result as it did over the past couple of weeks, for sure.
Okay, yeah.
So no, I'm not going to be continuing with that. Maybe periodically, just to see how different things work. Because I like to run with efficiency.
Mm-hmm.
So if something's not working, I want to know as quickly as possible. But I don't ever look at my result. I don't ever look at the stream and say, well, this isn't working, unless it's a really bad stream. I mean, that happens.
Yeah.
But I'll take 3 to 7 days of data before I make a decision. So you know what, this isn't working. I'm going to cut this out of my programming, or I should do this more. And also, there's a really cool feature on Twitch. It's called clipping, and so your viewers can actually push a clip button, and it actually takes a 30-second video of your live stream and records it and puts it on your channel for you.
Yeah, it's amazing.
I always watch those. I always keep an eye on how many clips I'm getting, and I watch the clips afterward, because those are the things that people are enjoying, and you can actually tailor your gameplay or tailor your stream to what people are reacting to make it more entertaining that way. You can use everything on any platform as a learning tool, for sure, to get more efficient.
Yeah, you got a lot of clips going here. Well, I guess not like a lot, but you have a good amount of clipped games here, and I really like that idea too. Like it's amazing, like how efficiently it works too. Like you can just press the clip button, and all of a sudden, right there, not even a second later, here's the segment of the video that you want to clip, and
exactly,
it's really interesting. I like that, and I really wish more people would utilize it more, because then what people are liking the most out of the screen, whether it be quips, jokes, funny moments, whatever.
Exactly. And there's nothing that you can't learn from what people are doing, for sure. And, we have about, I think, probably like 40 to 50 clips already in 5 weeks, which isn't too bad. Nice thing about that is it actually comes off your channel after 24 hours, so it doesn't clutter your channel up. Mm-hmm. So the newest clips are the freshest ones.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. Let's talk a little bit about Fallout 76, because
Sure.
You are a strong supporter of the game, if I remember correctly.
Oh, yeah.
And looking at the user score on Metacritic, it is standing at a 3.1, which is pretty low. Why are people wrong about the game?
Well, it's the expectation of the game. People have the wrong expectation of the game. So first of all, you have to go back to Fallout 3. When they came out with Fallout 4, like when they were talking about it, people were all hyped up about it. One of the biggest questions when they were talking about Fallout 4 coming out, moving up to November of 2015, the whole thing was, well, is there going to be a multiplayer or a cooperative aspect to the game? No, it's going to be a single-player game. That's how it is. But the thing is, people are like, well, that sucks. I really want to have a multiplayer game where I can play with friends, and woe is me. But what ended up happening at that point was that we came out with a multiplayer game, and they're like, oh, that's bullshit. This is going to suck. And the thing is, people don't like the always online. what I believe, and I'm not stating fact here, I'm just stating strong opinion here.
Yeah.
What I believe is two things: no human NPCs and no story mode, single player story mode. It's just the way it is. It's an empty vessel of Fallout map with just random shit to do. I mean, you got your main quest line, and you've got your side quests, you got your daily quests, you got your community events. There's a lot you can do. How you play it really depends on what you think of the game. There's going to be people who are like, well, I don't like multiplayer, I'm not going to play multiplayer. Well, that's great. You don't have to play multiplayer, but the PvP aspect doesn't go away. Even though you don't want to play by yourself, you step out of line in that game and you kill somebody or you break something that's not yours, it puts a bounty on your head. So whether you're playing by yourself or not, they're going to hunt you down, and they're going to take that bounty. Because if you go in, you're griefing people, because that was one of the biggest problems. People were worried about griefing. I'm in the middle of building my settlement, and somebody comes and shoots me up, or they come and destroy my shit. Well, now what? I don't know what to do. So they put a bounty system in place. So if I go in and I destroy somebody's turret, I'm going to be walking around with a red bottle cap over my head with a value on it. And I'm up for grabs, and it will stay there. There's no way to get unwanted unless you're dead. Right. So, and you show up on the map too. So I can open up the map. I can look at the whole overview of the map, and I can see through, let's say, 3 dots. One has a 15 bottle cap bounty on their head. One has a 20, and one has a 28. Whatever, I can go ahead and fast travel over to that person and take them out, and I'll get there, and I'll get the bottle caps for it, because bottle caps are actually pretty scarce in that game. But I think overall that people just don't like the idea that they don't have the story mode. The NPCs, not as big of an issue as the single player story mode, but people asked for the multiplayer aspect, and here it is. I know that they probably wanted it. They probably meant it like, your Resident Evil 5 or your Resident Evil 6 or your Army of 2, where it's a offline campaign where you can play with 1 or 2 other people. But that's not how they put it in place. And I think that Fallout 76 is far beyond the expectations of how it was going to go, simply because they have ESO to fall back on. They learned a lot from ESO. Now, if you remember when that game came out, it was a complete dumpster fire of a game when it first came out. It had you couldn't go into buildings. Everything was broken. There wasn't as much to do. They fixed that. So I think they used that and learned what they should already have in place when this goes live, which they did. Is it the perfect game? Absolutely not. I mean, I was at the end of my stream, the server crashed out on me. But it is what it is. I mean, it's Bethesda at the end of the day. It's not going to be perfect, and it never will be, but they're going to continue to update it. They're watching what people are doing. Everything that you do in that game is being logged somewhere by Bethesda to increase the efficiency of that game. I think people still need to give it a little bit more of a chance. I've heard people that have already sold the game, to be honest with you. It's been out for 3 days.
Well, there's people who do that with every game. You'll see them on the shelves at used game places day one. Because people are just dumb. They put it in their, they'll load it up into their console, and they'll look at the main menu and go, not for me, and they'll take it back. And
exactly.
Since it's open, you can't return it, so they're like, oh, I'll just sell it back for half the money. I don't know how you live like that, but who am I to judge?
May I ask you a question?
Sure.
You were in my stream last week, maybe the week before, and it was during one of my beta streams. And you said that you wouldn't be getting the game day one. You said something as it was pretty quick. What you said was quick, but it was pretty specific. You had heard something about the game not working on day one.
Bethesda put out a statement about the game. They said it was It was going to be a broken mess, to quote them, in the statement that they put out, and so that's why it turned me away from the game. And I wanted to wait until they put their, until they give it their seal of approval. Like, obviously, when they put that out, they were like, maybe they were just trying to, have some foresight, and they knew the game had glitches, so they were like, let's just put out this so that people, when they get the glitches, aren't as mad. But I don't want to like spend the money on it and then not be able to play it. That was the impression that I had with that statement that they put out there.
Gotcha. I didn't realize that it was Bethesda that put that out themselves.
Yeah.
Crazy.
And, I guess, props to Bethesda for actually, seeing the problems with their game and saying, this is what it could be like if you load up the game tomorrow,
Sure.
But also, you wonder why they don't just push the game back a little bit. Like, if they need another month to really polish it up, why wouldn't they just do that?
I agree. But it's all about making that almighty buck, and people want their content and they want it now.
Right.
I for one was getting frustrated with the beta. First of all, a couple times it was out, I was at work and couldn't do it.
Oh, yeah.
But other times where it's like, I'm having fun, I'm immersed. I've got 3 other people that I'm playing with. They're in my Discord, they're on my stream. We're really enjoying this. Oh, look at that! 6 minutes and the server shuts down on us. So it actually had a timer up in the right corner. It's like server shut down imminent. 8 minutes, and it counts down. And I'll tell you right now, when that hits 0, you're out. It's done.
Oh.
So that was frustrating as well. I would have liked to see them have the beta open for a week, 24/7. But I know what they were trying to do. They were stress testing the server. If I put a 3-hour window in there where that's the only time you can play, then everybody's going to pile in to play,
right?
And that's going to see if it breaks their server.
Yeah. I guess on paper it's a good idea, but in actuality, you're also limiting the amount of people who can play at that time.
Yep, absolutely. And as a consumer, it's frustrating. I didn't want to stop playing, but I have more fun playing it with others than I do by myself, and that I think is the different type of open-mindedness I have versus the people that don't like it. I can live with no single player storyline because I know there's another Fallout coming in the future.
Mm-hmm.
It's going to happen. I mean, you don't say, hey, wow, look at this. We sold 80 million copies of this. Let's just stop this. And there's no way that's happening. They have another one in the works. They haven't announced it, obviously. They announced another Elder Scrolls 6 at the end of their E3 presentation.
Right.
They announced it. It's not an online, it's not an ESO, it's Elder Scrolls 6 or Skyrim 2 or whatever people are saying it's going to be. But the point is, I know that they'll go back to Fallout 5, and that will be a single player experience. But this is something we have something that we can do on Fallout that's fresh, it's different, and we're 3 years removed from the last Fallout. We're lucky to have anything new Fallout, because, Bethesda, it's like, okay, well, we put out this new game. We'll get another game out with the same title in 8 to 10 years, no problem.
Yeah, that's true.
So, yeah, it's insane. So, I mean, how it works is we got something. So, I enjoy it. Not everybody's going to enjoy it. I mean, a meta score of 3.8. That's pretty terrible.
It's even lower, 3.1. It was
3.1.
But that's the user score. That's not the critic score. So, users, they can go in there and there was a string of zeros that I saw on the first page. So, I mean,
sure.
Most of those people are probably exaggerating the problems or they didn't actually play it and they just wanted to, add to
exactly.
the hate.
It's a conviction against the idea.
Speaking along the lines of other Bethesda games, Doom Eternal is going to be coming out next year. Have you seen the gameplay for that?
I have seen very little gameplay, but I am thoroughly impressed. It looks like it's a new engine. And I know that they've been holding off on a lot of Bethesda games because they're at the point where they're getting a new engine.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm pretty excited to see how that new engine works.
Grappling hook on a shotgun, I'm sold.
Exactly. So take my money now.
I love that Doom, the last one they put out. It's amazing, and I think Doom Eternal is just going to be more of that kick-ass kind of way about it.
They did a fantastic job with that. I'm really, quite honestly, though, looking more forward to Rage 2 than Doom.
Yeah.
We haven't had a Rage game. I mean, to prove my point from what I just said, we haven't had a Rage game since what, 2005, 2006?
Yeah, it was early PlayStation 3, Xbox 360, so
yeah,
it's been a while.
Yeah. And that game was ahead of its time back then. It still holds up beautifully.
Definitely underrated.
Yeah, 60 frames per second on a friggin' Xbox 360. PlayStation 3, that's unheard of. That was really, really good. It's obviously a different engine than what they currently use. I think it was the same engine that they used for Doom back then. But if that looks anywhere where the quality that Doom 1 looks, I can't wait. I thought
Yeah,
it was really good.
we got a lot to be excited for in the future, Bethesda, and maybe Fallout 76 will be a flop on the timeline of things, but really all that matters is that you're enjoying it, you're playing it, and you're having a good time with it. And you can pretty much just ignore the haters even if they come to the stream.
I always do. But I have a lot of fun with it. I've had an open invitation today. Anybody that was on PS4 wanted to jump in and join me on Discord and play the game. That's what we did, and it was a lot of fun. People, some people jumped on and off. It was great.
What's going on?
I have no idea.
What was it?
An Amber Alert.
Oh, of course. Anyways, I was about to ask.
Sure.
I think this is about the time in the podcast that we need to talk Twitch versus YouTube, because you were, you still are you're growing pretty well on YouTube, I would say. 2,000 subscribers and affiliated with or not affiliated, monetized by YouTube, and you switched over. What would you say you said about a month ago or so, 5 weeks ago?
Yeah, about a month ago, beginning of October, second week of October, I started on Twitch.
And I know you put out your update video, but for the people who don't know, why change over to Twitch after being monetized and waiting so long to be monetized and, having viewer counts that were pretty good? Why switch over?
It's never been about the money for me. It's never, the monetization. The reason why I wanted that in the first place was because I had heard that you get preferential treatment in terms of ranking.
Mm-hmm.
So I was really looking forward to that. And, I have a fantastic community. I love the community so much. And I really appreciate the people who have stayed by my side on YouTube and have come over to Twitch with me. But I don't think that it's a secret that I really believe that YouTube has some severe issues right now. So I've got 2,415 subscribers on YouTube right now as we're recording this. Tomorrow I'll have 2,417. And the day after that, I'll have 2,415. It's been going like that literally for the last 8 weeks.
Oh, really?
When I go live, I lose about 5 subscribers. 2 days later, they'll come back and I'll go back up to 2,417 after I stream. A couple days later, the next day I'll be down to 2,415. So I don't know if it is people that are unsubscribing and YouTube holding off on those losses, so I have the opportunity to get subscribers and replace that. I don't know. I know that I've lost about 750 subscribers in the 1 year that I've been on YouTube. And I'm fine with that. People are going to unsubscribe. People are going to subscribe. People come and go. They like your content. They don't like your content. You change something on your channel, like you're not playing anymore. You're not playing, let's say I'm playing Far Cry now.
Mm-hmm.
People don't like that game. They don't show up. They unsubscribe if it doesn't go back to Skyrim or Fallout games. And that's fine. I have no problem with people unsubscribing. I want people that come to my stream to enjoy the content and to feel comfortable to come in and talk to me, talk to other people. I don't tolerate bullying. I don't tolerate trolls. So anybody that comes into my stream is 100% welcome, unless you're a troll. But at the same time, I need to be able to grow. My dream is to make streaming and content creation, a career. So in order to do that, I need to have a strong community, which I do have the foundation of a very, very strong community. Don't get me wrong.
Mm-hmm.
I need to be able to build on top of that community and to bring more people in. So when I'm looking at my metrics and I'm looking at my numbers, and in July, June, even May of 2018, to have an average viewership on YouTube of between 40 and 60 people in my stream at all times, and getting 8 to 12,000 minutes of watch time, going down to playing the same games, having 8 to 15, sometimes 20 viewers in my stream average, and 2,000 minutes of watch time on those streams,
mm-hmm.
and nobody new coming in it shows that I'm not even being recommended anymore. I'm not being indexed. And I had a hard time with that. It's not, not whining or anything like that. It's just that what was going well for me before, YouTube stopped doing. We were being recommended the number one Skyrim stream almost every time. Number one Fallout 4 stream on YouTube. Recommended YouTube Gaming. Even when you typed in Fallout 4 in the regular YouTube app, we'd show up number one when we were live.
Yeah, I remember that.
That just kind of all went away.
Mm-hmm.
And the problem with that was it just stopped the growth. Now, do I expect to be number one, number five, or whatever in, every time I go live? No. But for it to shut off as abruptly as it did, and then other people are coming in, the community that I speak with, you're part of that community, to see your growth get hampered, to see Dimmy V Gaming's, Epidragon, Evil Laugh Gaming, Gaia Legend, Yemmy the Ferret, Keji Rain, to see everybody's growth that has been exponential and steady, or at least at the bare minimum steady, drop off. That's a red flag for me.
Mm-hmm.
It's never been about the money, and people are like, why are you going to Twitch? Twitch sucks. I'm like, well, it doesn't suck. It's harder. It's 100% streaming. And I believe that YouTube changed their algorithm back over to pre-recorded content, kind of like this. It's one of those things where they changed it in February to, you have to have 10,000 views and then we'll monetize you, to, well, you need 1,000 subscribers and 4,000 hours of watch time. Because that's gonna kill a couple problems.
Mm-hmm.
First of all, it's going to create engagement, because if you're monetized at 10,000 views, then you're really not going to make much money. 10,000 views is really nothing. And if you have 1,000 subscribers, and then that's great. I could do sub for sub, but what about that 4,000 hours? Because I could do sub for sub and have 20,000 subscribers right now. But because it's just a sub for sub, and a lot of people that do sub for sub don't understand it doesn't work. It's nothing that I've ever gotten into. I need that 4,000 hours. And if I got 20,000 subscribers and I'm, creating content, they're not going to watch that.
Right.
They're not going to watch that. I got to micromanage everybody to watch it. Remember, I'm subscribed to you. I sent you that screenshot that I'm subscribed. You got to send it back, or, make sure you watch at least 30 seconds of this. Well, it doesn't work that way. You need 4,000 hours now. It's 240,000 minutes.
Right.
That's not easy to achieve. The only way to do it is to really, at that point, given my size, I had 150 at the time, 150 subscribers at the time, was to stream and see, try my hand at that. The first month was awful. I had 1 to 3 viewers at all times, but I was new. I didn't know any different, so it didn't bother me. And then come March, I had 6 to 10 in there. Come April, I had 20 to 40 in there. It's like, wow. May, I was averaging probably between 40 and 60. The day that I hit 1,000 subscribers, there were 64 people in my stream when it happened.
Yeah, I remember that.
Which blew my mind.
Yeah.
It was a surreal feeling when you get a viewer count that high. It's a high. You hit your stride. You get all freaked out and excited. You're shaking. You're loving it. But that kind of went away with this algorithm change, going back to the pre-records, which I'm fine doing. But then you get buried in that as well. So I got frustrated with it and went over to Twitch. And Twitch is more difficult because everybody's streaming. It's not pre-recorded content. It's streaming. And it tells you how many people are watching that particular video and that particular game, rather. Mm-hmm. And I'll tell you that, I watch that. 125,000 people watching Fallout 76 right now. You pop on there. It's discouraging sometimes because the number one person on that list of that 125,000, he's got 42,000 people watching him right now. So it's like, how do you compete with that?
Right. Yeah.
But I'm having more fun with it. And there's more lurkers. It's definitely a much quieter platform as far as people wanting to watch it and not really talk to you. They'll follow you. They might throw you some bits, which is like the equivalent of a super chat there. Mm-hmm. But at the end of the day, it's more people looking for streams. Those are the types of followers that you have over there that won't go and subscribe to you on YouTube because it's all pre-recorded. They want to watch live streams. They want to listen to engagement. They want to watch gameplay. They don't really care so much about the chatting aspect as watching the gameplay. And I understand that. We got monetized the first week on Twitch, and that's fine. But the thing that really gets me the most is that would make me say there's really not much of a difference between YouTube and Twitch is that the community that I built on YouTube, most of the most active people followed me over to Twitch. So it's 6 of one, half of another to me. But then there are some people that can't use Twitch, but won't use Twitch. So that's why I was going to say earlier in this podcast that I'm going to be coming back to YouTube to do streams as well, because I do miss the entire community. And I'm not the type of, I don't have the ego, the attitude that's like, well, if you want to watch MazTech, then you have to come over to Twitch. Otherwise, screw you. That's not the type of person that I am.
Right.
And I value each and every person that's ever been to 1 second of my stream. So for me to be able to come back over to YouTube and be part of that community again, because I've missed, not only have I missed the viewers, I've missed you guys who have been over there and rating you guys and being in your streams. It's been crazy. It's been a surreal change. Some of it for the better and some of it not so much. So I kind of touch base on both of those.
Yeah. I know Dimmy's kind of been going back and forth as well with his streams, trying to get people maybe to come more over to Twitch or not. Really, when people say they can't come to Twitch, I'm like, why? You can't just make an account real quick and log in. But
can't means won't. But right. I mean, I get that, but there are some people that will, they'll create an account and come over for you. And if they don't, that's okay too. Those are the people I'm coming back to YouTube for.
Right. And really, when I moved over to Twitch, I wasn't doing it because, affiliate, it's so much easier to get on Twitch, whatever, it's really, it's not, but
it's nothing.
I moved it over because I didn't want the streams on my YouTube channel because that was hampering a lot of the content. It made it a little bit more sporadic, I guess you would say.
Absolutely.
And even though I love making thumbnails, and most of my thumbnails I think should be hung up in a museum.
Nice. I love it. I agree.
Twitch has been fine. Sure, there's not as many people, and people don't know when you're going there unless they see, the post on Discord or on Twitter. But,
sure.
I think that changing over that stuff, because who's going to go back and watch a 3-hour live stream, taking that stuff off of YouTube and then just making like a highlight video or something like that and putting it on YouTube is probably way better than doing a 8-hour live stream on YouTube and then having to be on YouTube for the rest of its existence, but only get, 3 minutes of watch time after the fact.
I agree. So moving forward, when I start doing, to your point, when I start going back to YouTube, which will be soon, I'm going to be marking each and every stream as unlisted afterwards, so it doesn't get in the way of my pre-records. You keep the watch time, you keep everything, the retention, the watch time, the viewer count, the views, everything like that. But it won't get in the way of your pre-recorded videos. The only time that you lose all those metrics is when you mark it private or delete it.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, that's a good idea. That's a great idea, actually. I'm not sure if anyone else we know does that right now.
Rothenium started doing that. I'm not sure if Yemmy does it. I think he was doing it a little bit. And I have not done it, but I really want to start gearing it more towards the pre-recorded aspect. So I will be unlisting them moving forward on there. And the nice thing about Twitch as well is that after 30 to 60 days, it just comes off your channel anyway. So you don't even have to worry about that.
So, Maz, the last question for today is actually a question I asked you last time, and it was more gauged towards YouTube. What advice would you have to people going into YouTube? They're coming in fresh, new. Is your advice still the same, or would you change it up a little bit?
So here's the thing. Some of my closer friends that also stream and create content, yourself included, know that from time to time I get exceptionally frustrated with the way things are going. And that's not because of any one or any group of people. It has to do with the metrics that I'm looking at that get me frustrated. And sometimes it's because I'm overtired and whatnot. But one thing that I have never done, even though I've gotten frustrated and say, I quit, I'm out of this, fuck this, and whatever. I never have stopped. I never have quit. I never will quit. yeah, it's the same advice as last time, is that just keep plugging away. And I have to remind myself that every day, especially on Twitch, is that I am starting over. I have a lot of friends and support on YouTube that I brought over to Twitch. So I actually have, and same thing with you. We kind of hit the ground running because we have that support. We have that community that will come see us on Twitch. Mm-hmm. But in order to really continue to grow, you just need to ignore everything that's negative. You know, if you have a bad stream, if nobody shows up and whatnot, if you continue to push and keep telling yourself every day, this is what I'm going to do, this is what I want to do, this is where I want to be, it will happen. I read a lot of, I watch a lot of the larger YouTubers, and I watch streams of the larger Twitch users. They do the same thing day in and day out. You want to have a consistent schedule. So when people are following you or subscribing to you, they know, hey, you know what? It's Tuesday night. It's 6:30. MazTech is on. And even if they get a notification or they don't, and they become a big fan of yours, and they search for you at 6:30 p.m., you're live. That's what people are looking for. And continue to build on that. Continue to reach out to other streamers and build a community. Don't go into other streams and be like, hey, I'm also a Twitch streamer. Follow me on Twitch or subscribe to my YouTube channel. I have a YouTube channel. Can I drop a link here? Nothing like that. Go in there and get to know those people. Mm-hmm. Raid them. Twitch has an amazing raid system that you just type in /raid and the person's name, and in 10 seconds it drops your entire stream over to their stream for a raid, and it counts how many people are coming into the raid, and people embrace that. People love that on Twitch. So that's a good way to get to know people as well. Now, really, in the long run, what I like to do is when I raid somebody, I'm looking to get them viewers because I'm done with my stream. Maybe give them more viewers, give them a boost to try to find people that have a low view count, kind of pump them up a little bit. If you get something back during that, that's great, but don't make that the reason why. Don't go into a stream that has 300 people in there, hoping, well, why didn't I get 20 followers off this? I did something nice. It's really about building that community and not looking for anything in return.
Right.
But keep pushing and keep grinding, and eventually it happens. I mean, case in point, I just said it earlier. February was an awful month because I just started streaming. And I'm like, oh, well, look at that. I streamed for 4 hours. This is awesome. I had 18 people view. That's awesome. And it is good back then. But then come March, April, May, I had 800 views on my stream, and that's because I was there from February to March to April to May, and it just kept building up. So continue. I'm living proof that you can build a community of 150 subscribers, which are usually at that point really only subscribed to me for my pre-recorded content. Mm-hmm. I built that into 2,400 people in 5 months by streaming consistently. I never stopped, and it was frustrating along the way. It's frustrating now, but if you continue to push, it'll blow up for you over time. But you just cannot ever quit at any point.
Right. Yeah. And make sure you keep it fun too. Don't
absolutely. It has to be fun, and don't stop talking no matter what. If you have 0 people in there, tell a story while you're playing. People love that. People embrace that. And when they come in or they see a rerun, because not everybody is going to sit there. You're absolutely right. Nobody's going to watch an 8-hour stream replayed. They're not going to be like, oh, well, look at that. MazTech was on. I'm going to go click there and watch him for the next 8 hours. But they'll pop in and see what that's like.
Right.
And if that you're talking and having a good time and just continuing to tell the story as you're talking through what you're actually doing, that could appeal to somebody, and you might get that extra follow or that extra subscription because of that. So definitely continue to talk to yourself or talk to your stream, and also don't be consistent and don't give up.
All right. Well, hey, from your mouth to the ears of the listeners, great advice. Maz, last time you were on the channel was episode 12 of the Ferret Business Podcast. Still a lot of great information in that one as well. So if you want to go learn a little bit more about Maz himself, I know in this episode we kind of talked more about YouTube and the games we're playing, because last time we talked about Maz, his background, his work, stuff like that. So if you want to, make sure you go check out that video. That's episode 12 The Ferret Business Podcast playlist will be at the end cards, as well as a link to Maz's YouTube channel, and also in the description will be links to his Twitch, his Twitter, etc., etc. Maz, from the first time here to currently right now, did you enjoy your time on the podcast a second time?
Dude, I always enjoy this, and to be completely honest with you, man, I was honored that you asked me to come back on. So I really, really appreciate you. You're a fantastic creator. You're a good friend. You have been since I met you. I really appreciate everything that you do, and I think that the podcasts are a really good way to turn people on to new creators / streamers. You're doing a really good service for your community, and I really, really appreciate it, and I'm honored to be a part of it.
I appreciate your kind words. It makes me feel good knowing that people are enjoying it, and hopefully the listeners are getting some good information out of this, which I mean, if they're not, I mean, what are they listening to?
Exactly.
All right, Maz. Well, I think that wraps up this episode of the Ferret Business Podcast, which is now on SoundCloud. So if you want to, you can check out the SoundCloud link in the description as well. Maz,
Boom.
Is there anything else you want to say before we end the show?
Yeah, man. Again, thank you for having me on, and to everybody that's listening to this that are subscribed to me or following me on YouTube or Twitch. I wanted to thank you guys all again for, it's been a crazy ride. We've been creating on YouTube. We started out on YouTube a year ago on the 7th of November. So we just hit our year mark. I want to thank each and every one of you for all the support you guys have given me. I'm humbled by it. I was humbled by it and blown away by it when we started to blow up. We're not blowing up as much as we used to be, but I'm still equally humbled by it as I was when we first started blowing up. So thank you guys for everything. Again, thank you, Mr. Yemmy the Ferret, for having me. You're amazing. You're all amazing.
Well, all right, there you go. Hey, thanks for coming on once again, Maz. It's been a pleasure talking to you.
Pleasure's been mine.
But hey, that's it for this episode of the podcast. As always, I am your host, Yemmy the Ferret, and this has been another episode of the Ferret Business Podcast.